can't teach an old dog new tricks, or so they say, but can you teach an old dog new views? I'd like to think that you can. The old dog that I'm referring to here is American society, and the views are on mental health. The American Psychological Association is in charge of forming these views, and it's important to college students because not only are we the potential members of the APA, but we are current members of American society. To achieve a more socially progressive society, I propose that the APA educates society using concepts of the attribution theory. In preview, we'll discover the answer to my initial question using two indictments on society, my solution and my justification. I hope that the best answer we reach here is yes. Straight away, mental disorders are medical conditions. Mental processes involve neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters move messages to and from nerve cells in the brain. And that makes up our brain chemistry, which affects how we interact with our environment. A 2012 article in Monitor on Psychology, where Ware states that all mental processes are brain processes, and therefore all disorders of mental functioning are biological diseases. All chronic diseases have behavioral components as well as biological components. The only difference here is that the organ of interest is the brain and not the heart or the pancreas. But the same basic principles apply. By and large, the negative views are what makes the cause for concern. These negative views, for one specific example, can include that the onset is the individual's own fault. But the facts lead to no, it's a biological onset, and the American moral codes are perpetuating that it's the person's fault, when much is still to be understood about the brain, so we can't jump to conclusions. When signals and the signs that people have mental disorders are all that they're taken into effect, it oversimplifies mental disorders when it's a complex process. We're not looking beneath the surface, and that's where stigma arises. In a 2014 article in Psychological Science in the Public Interest, Corrigan, Druss, and Perlich note that stigma becomes a particular concern when it undermines seeking out and participating in services with demonstrated effectiveness in reducing dysfunction and disability and promoting recovery, reference to as evidence-based services. Considering those indictments, the tried and true solution here is simple: education through the attribution theory. In a 2006 article in Clinical Psychology and Practice, Corrigan defines attribution theory as a fundamental model of human motivation and emotion based on the assumption that individuals search for causal understanding of everyday events. And meeting a person with mental illness is an outcome event that signals this kind of attributional reaction. So, if we can change how we look at the attributions to everyday causes of events, we can change the view on mental health. The tragic but very real reality is that the easy explanations are the ones that people take the most stock in. And that leads to an educated society. But maybe they really don't know what that education is, and the APA is not doing a well enough job doing that. According to a 2001 article in the Oxford Journal of Medicine, Corrigan defines that these three specific strategies of education in the attribution process is that we give individuals mental health facts, we protest stigmatizing behaviors, and we get people to interact with people with mental illness. But how is this going to work? That is the question. Finally, this leads us to where over time mental health views can be changed, and this has been tested in 2 specific studies where there's more, but these are the 2 main ones that cover our 3 strategies of education. The studies are making it tried and true. The first study, as documented in a 2015 article in the British Journal of Psychiatry, Menta et al. States that through 6 databases reviewing 80 studies on the effectiveness of long-term, at least 4 weeks, and interventions in low and middle income countries, they conclude that there is modest evidence for the effectiveness of these interventions beyond 4 weeks follow-up in the terms of increasing knowledge and reducing stigmatizing attitudes. Second and final study that is worth noting here is documented in a 2003 article in the British Journal of Psychiatry, where Pinfold, Toulmin, Thornycroft, Huxley, Farmer, and Graham say that putting 472 secondary school students through 2 mental health awareness workshops, the first focusing on psychological language, and the second on meeting with mentally ill people, resulted in positive changes in participants' reported attitudes toward people with mental health problems. As you can see, the evidence is there to back up that education over time with the attribution process has made it better in Britain's psychological association, so why can't it work in America's? In summary, I suggest that the APA educates our society using concepts of attribution theory through education to change mental health views. We discovered this through my main points, first being my 2 indictments, that mental disorders are medical conditions and the negative views surrounding mental health are the problem. My proposed solution was attribution theory through education by the APA. My justification surrounded evidence backing up Britain's showing that there is positive evidence that it can work in Britain, so that it's going to work in America too. If the APA takes this all into account, I believe we've got a brighter future on our hands with an educated and informed society reflecting the golden rule: treat as wanted to be treated. Remember, it's always a beautiful day to be a decent human being. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.